Alright, welcome back to my 1972 Datsun 510. Today I'm going to start putting on a little bit of Bondo here on this area and start sanding it back, and then work with the sander a little bit more to sort of clean up the last few of these welds that I couldn't get to with the big grinder. But all in all, I think things are going really well, and I'm moving forward slowly but surely. Again, this is the part of the project that I don't really love, and so it's just taking me longer because I'm figuring it all out as I go. But you don't learn if you don't work on stuff. Let's get to it. The music today is by Andromeda. It's called Dopamine. Go check them out on Reverb Nation. So I got out the Harbor Freight band file sander, which I got for about $30 with a coupon. I started with 80 grit, then moved to about 120 to 160 grit. This allowed me to get into the tighter spots that the angle grinder just couldn't get to, which was really nice to get some of those more finicky high points that realistically I would either need to Bondo over or sort of figure out a way to transition. I then realized that I could smooth out the seam sealer using this file, so I ended up sanding it down with the higher grit content sandpaper. That allowed me to smooth out the transitions across it and then continue going from there. So I don't know whether that's going to work perfectly well, but the edges are definitely much more feathered, and these are going to be where the doors are closed and opening anyway. If I were to do it again, and I think I've said this before, but I would replace the whole entire rocker panel. I wouldn't cut out the small chunks like I did. To fit it in, I'll drill out the spot welds along the pillars and then plug weld them back in on the next side over. But you live and learn, right? And I think the phrase is, then you get loves. But anyway, let's get some Bondo mixed up. Let's go ahead and try to get this done. First I got to clean it up a little bit because it's definitely a little bit dusty from the previous stuff. GoPro stop. So I started by cleaning off the surface that I used to mix up my Bondo. This is just a piece of glass that I have. I don't even know whenever I got, but I got it a while back. Then I cleaned up all the surfaces with a little bit of rubbing alcohol to make for sure that I got all the just other pieces off of them, and mixed up the Bondo. I probably put a little bit too much hardener cream into these, which made it sort of flash dry a little bit faster than I wanted to, so I wasn't able to get everything on it like I felt like it was going to be. Via the power of editing, it is now the next morning. So I came back out with the sander and the orbital sander and just sanded it down to knock down the high edges, and then went through with another coat of Bondo in order to give it time to dry before I came back later on in the afternoon. Here you see me sanding it down with my hand, just using some sandpaper. I don't actually have that rough of hands. I can't use my hands to sand down things. Once I got done with this, I, like I said, put on the new set of Bondo and let it dry for a couple hours and went from there. I had to actually make a run out to the store to grab more sandpaper, as I only had that one sheet and I knew that that was going to run out. The next batch of Bondo that I mixed up, I got the hardener to cream ratio much better and was able to work with it much longer. I was able to fill in all of the different weld spots, both on this spot, on the wheel arch, and along the rocker panel here, and was able to blend it into a nice spot that I thought I could sand down later. This whole process actually worked much better than I thought it would with the orbital sander. I used the orbital sander to knock down the Bondo a bit. Once I get that Bondo knocked down, I then just continue to use sandpaper and form it using my eyes and just checking it as I go. Getting the Bondo out of these seams wasn't always the easiest thing to do, but I think it worked out pretty well across the board and was happy with the way that it turned out. For some of the larger areas of Bondo, I actually used a screwdriver and chipped off the pieces that didn't need to be there before trying to sand. Off camera, I sprayed the area with a bit of white primer just to sort of see how it looked. With that white primer, I was able to see some irregularities in the surface, and so I was able to clean those up and go from there. Alright, decided I'd finally set up a end screen for all of my videos. If you like what you see, go ahead and click the subscribe button. That subscribe button lets me know that I'm doing good work. Also, don't forget to set up your notifications so that way it'll notify you whenever I post a new video. Over here you're going to see my newest video. And then finally, over here is what YouTube suggests should be the next video in this series. I've got all my videos set up in different playlists, so you should be able to see and track and follow whichever projects you feel like. Thank you for watching. Get out there and work on your car, and God bless.